Welcome back to the show. We got a great one lined up. History being made for crypto, and there's going to be more later today. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow us on X, YouTube, and digperspectives.com for exclusive content. Right now, $3.08 trillion market cap for crypto. The market is off 0.8%. 90,400 plus for Bitcoin, 2,200 plus for Ethereum. XRP number 3 spot, $2.54. We're off 2.1 on the 24, but we're up 22.5 on the 7-day. How about that one? We're ranging between 240 and 264. It's a historic day for crypto as the executive order for a strategic Bitcoin reserve was signed and a digital asset stockpile was signed as well. This is a remarkable moment. Did you get your ticket to XRP Las Vegas? Brad Garlinghouse is going to be a part of the first White House Crypto Summit today. And then in May, he's going to come out and tell us on stage about all the great things that are unfolding between now and May. And you know it's going to be a lot. David Schwartz is going to be there. Chris Giancarlo is going to be there. Now, we all know the Honorable Chris Giancarlo has had a major hand in helping with the conversations about whether to have a strategic reserve and a digital asset stockpile. And he's going to be on stage with us in May too. And so many other incredible companies and people. Make sure you get your tickets to the event. Let's get started. Right here is Howard Lutnick, and we got to remind everybody about two things before we get started with all the crypto historic moments we've seen and that we're going to see later today. It is this. It is the dismantling of federal income tax, which means the IRS and the Fed. Take a listen.
If you look from the day before the election to today, you're going to see that the markets are up. The market's what, 0.25% you're worried about now? I'm actually on TV talking about 0.25%. You got to stop it. You got to stop it. Tariffs are going to drive America better. Remember, we pay taxes into the Internal Revenue Service. Wouldn't it be amazing to stop paying taxes to the Internal Revenue Service and have the External Revenue Service of Make America Great Again, replace our taxes? That's the goal of Donald Trump, and I think he's going to hit there. He's going to do everything he can to make that happen. Lower our taxes. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on seniors. Come on. This is an amazing country, and we are winning.
Yes. Mr. Secretary, thank you for coming in today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. You should have heard him
the weather
on
in
that call.
D.C. traffic.
This president is so good. He is just amazing.
No doubt about it. And let's keep this in mind to go right along with the IRS and the Fed being too big. The Federal Reserve Board I can't even say it. Abolition Act, HR 1846. I'll get some flashcards when I get done today, ladies and gentlemen. The Federal Reserve Abolition Act, and they need to get rid of it. They really do. Americans would be better off if the Federal Reserve did not exist. This is picking up steam. This here is Congressman Representative Thomas Massey, right here. How about that one? That's a big deal. Remember, all of this is happening while we're watching this history-making days, yesterday and today, for cryptocurrency, bringing it into our financial system. The U.S. dollar is under fire like never before. The U.S. dollar is under fire like never before. Trump's policies, tariffs, trade wars, and diplomatic chaos are shaking its dominance. Nigel Green warns that once unthinkable de-dollarization is accelerating, it could get out of hand very quickly. I'll paraphrase for you. But the reality is herein lies the real reason for all this innovation. That's what I believe. That's why I believe XRP was designed in the ledger to underpin the U.S. dollar dominance for the next 200 years plus. And here we see the moment that happened. President Trump signed the executive orders making a Bitcoin strategic reserve and a digital asset stockpile for which so far XRP, Solana, ADA, and Ethereum will be involved. Now, there are some things about that they will not be purchasing it with taxpayer dollars. This gets interesting. So then the question is, well, how did they attain these assets? I think there's a great likelihood that Ripple could work out a deal with the U.S. government and President Trump, also through the SEC fine, pay it in XRP instead of dollars, and work out some kind of negotiation for a portion of the XRP escrow. We'll see what happens. Meanwhile, this is the historic day. Let's have it again really quickly. It's so good. Take a listen. And it's going to get better. We'll talk about it.
Signing. This is very historic, an executive order establishing a strategic Bitcoin reserve and digital asset stockpile. This is a promise that you made throughout the campaign, and today we're keeping that promise. The reserve will be capitalized with Bitcoin that the federal government already owns, so it won't cost taxpayers a dime. This is like a digital Fort Knox for digital gold. And premature sales of Bitcoin over the past years cost American taxpayers over $17 billion in lost value because we didn't have a long-term strategy.
Right.
Now we do. So.
And this is something you believe in fully?
100%, yeah.
Okay.
And the whole community believes in it.
Very good. And I made the promise, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
There you have it right there. That is history in the making. Now, it has been said that they can't use taxpayer dollars to purchase these assets. Okay, so everybody thinks it's lipstick on a pig that they can't buy the assets. Well, you know what? Hang in there, because I think it's got a lot to do with setting the stage for Congress to pass something to change the game on that. Crypto czar David Sachs says the U.S. will not sell any Bitcoin deposited into the strategic reserve for Bitcoin. It will be kept as a store of value. The reserve is like a digital Fort Knox for cryptocurrency, often called digital gold. So that's the thought at this point. Treasury Secretary Bessent says, we'll see what the way forward is for Bitcoin acquisitions. And let's listen here.
Okay, Bitcoin, the reserve. Supposedly there is disappointment that we're not going to be buying Bitcoin outright using taxpayer dollars. But if we can do it in a revenue neutral way, we would. Number one, were you a proponent for the reserve? And two, is there a way to buy Bitcoin, not just acquire it through, I don't know, however we've gotten these $17 billion worth at this point?
Yeah, so Joe, I am a big proponent of the U.S. taking the worldwide lead in crypto. I think we have to bring it onshore and they use our best practices and regulation. I think that the Bitcoin reserve, before you can accumulate it, you have to stop selling it. So what we have now is from a seized asset pool, and I wasn't there when it happened, but I believe what happened was about 500 million of Bitcoin was seized, half of it was sold, and what we have now that, say it's over 10 billion, 10, 12 billion, that's all through appreciation. So the first thing to do is to stop the selling. So we are going to, after the victims are paid and all of that, any seized assets will go into this reserve, and then we'll see what the way forward is for more acquisitions for the reserves. And we're starting with Bitcoin, but it's an overall crypto reserve.
Right. So how do you think about buying, though? And how should taxpayers think about that? Because effectively we'll be levering ourselves to some degree, given that we don't have a surplus of money right now, to make these investments.
Yeah, so that's why the first step is to stop selling, and then we're going to put a plan in place from there. So we're having this crypto summit. I'm going back to Washington this afternoon, and then we'll talk about the way forward.
There you have it. We're going to hear more about the way forward today at 3 o'clock. I like it. And here we see a digital asset investor reminding everybody he has a long XRP memory. Don't forget FinCEN under the U.S. Treasury declared XRP a virtual currency since 2015. This is one of the many reasons the SEC case made no sense. It's absolutely right. And listen to this conversation back in the day with Hester Peirce and Charles Gasparino before he became Chaz. And this is where he acknowledged that the Treasury was being signaled as the place to see where crypto would be. Take a listen to this. Understanding that the stockpile, the digital asset stockpile, will be under the supervision of the Treasury. Listen to this comment from back in the day, and knowing that FinCEN said XRP was a virtual currency in 2015.
Necessarily going to start with the SEC, but it's going to start with Treasury. And as a matter of fact, when we asked Jen Psaki, the President Biden's press secretary, about crypto regulation, he pointed us to the Treasury Department. So clearly something is happening from Treasury. Is that your understanding, that it's Treasury that's going to give you guys the rules of the road going forward?
Well, I should say that I speak for myself and not even the SEC, let alone the Treasury. We are an independent regulatory agency. So that's one of the complexities in the United States. There's so many different potential touch points from regulation to crypto, and I think that's been a difficult thing for people in crypto to discern and figure out that landscape. I will say that within Treasury, FinCEN is a department that was looking at crypto, has been looking at crypto for many years now, was out early with guidance, and so I don't think that people are too surprised to see FinCEN involved, as there are potential AML, anti-money laundering, Know Your Customer, Bank Secrecy Act issues.
Right.
There you have it right there. So we see the connection all the way back into 2015 to FinCEN, the Treasury, and Ripple and XRP. Let us not forget, as a reminder, Craig Phillips in 2015 from the Treasury to Ripple. After we just recently found out from Greg Kidd in that interview I just sat with him that it was the Treasury he took and had that meeting with Chris Larson and made that introduction. And then from there, Craig Phillips from the Treasury is all of a sudden finds himself as an advisor to Ripple. He's so blown away by what they've done with XRP and the ledger. And then we see Michael S. Barr. Then he goes on to be the vice president of the Federal Board of Governors, then help support Choke Point 2.0 for the Biden administration. Then we see Susan Friedman, who's still at Ripple right now today, policy manager. Then we see Rosie Rios, the 43rd treasurer of the United States of America, on the board at Ripple. Hang in there. This ain't over yet. It's just getting started. Listen to this clip here. The oppressive boot of the previous failed administration is being lifted off the neck of the crypto industry. The Ripple case ends soon. This is the interim head at the SEC chair until Paul Atkins is confirmed. Mark Udea. Take a listen. You're going to love it.
The fact that we are seeing another sell-off in stocks this morning. The Dow Industrial is down 433. Bitcoin is actually indicated higher. The Securities and Exchange Commission turning a new leaf under the Trump administration, dismissing several investigations into crypto firms, including probes on Robinhood, Coinbase, and Kraken. The commission saying that its crypto task force will host a series of roundtables to discuss regulation of digital assets. And, of course, the White House is having the summit tomorrow on this. Joining us right now is the acting Securities and Exchange Commission Chairman, Mark Uyeda. Mr. Chairman, great to see you. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, great to be back, Maria.
First, let's talk about this investigatory situation and why you stopped the probes.
Well, we have stopped the probes that do not involve fraud. They are involved what we call registration-only violations. And that means you didn't come to the government and ask us for permission before doing an offering. Now, the reason we did that is because on day one of the Trump administration, I issued an order creating the SEC's crypto task force. It's something that we should have done years ago. We need to have a clear set of rules, particularly rules that establish whether or not something's even within the SEC jurisdiction. There's a whole legal structure. What is security? What is not?
Right.
We've not provided any clarity. Instead, for the last 4 years, we have pursued policy setting through enforcement actions. Now, my view is we set the rules. We tell people what the rules are. We expect them to abide by those rules. And then if they don't, we enforce. It's not the opposite way around. We don't hide what the rules are, hide our views, and only announce it ex post facto, which is after you've done something. There are so many in the crypto industry who've been asking for this clarity for years, and instead they get hit with subpoenas, they get hit with investigations, they get hit with court actions. So we're going back, we're engaging with the public, and that is one of the steps that we've made in addition to hosting roundtables, which we've just announced on this issue. We've created a public comment feedback form, asking the public to submit their comments on how we should regulate crypto assets.
Yeah, and
no doubt about it. And to go along with the SEC's crypto forum, here's the CFTC crypto forum that just finished up. And guess who's there? Oh, yeah, Brad Garlinghouse, Ivan Soto from MoonPay. Yes, it is. And look at this, Paulo Ardoino. Nice to see a change of heart out of him. He said not too many weeks ago he didn't need the European and U.S. markets. Obviously, a change of heart there. And the interim head, Commissioner Pham. Yeah, this is exciting. And listen to this, because if you think that the crypto strategic Bitcoin reserve was exciting and the digital asset stockpile is exciting, well, wait till we find out just exactly what this is all about. And I think this is what it's all about. It's the tokenization of real-world assets, ladies and gentlemen. And Patrick McHenry, the former Speaker of the House, is saying it too on the Ondo Summit stage.
On Treasuries market, it's great, easy example to understand. The faster we get to a technology solution, it's going to be better for our liquidity position for a massively indebted United States. There's like a broader imperative here. Right? So the evolution there of TradFi using these techniques is the easiest use case to see that can be done in small regulatory changes. That's the reason why BlackRock's in action. That's the reason why all these large financial players are clearly going to be in the action here of using better software to do what they currently do.
There's no question about it. On the Treasuries market, he says.
On Treasuries market, it's great, easy example to understand. The faster we get to a technology solution, it's going to be better for our liquidity position for a massively indebted United States. There's like...
Okay, so we literally just had David Sachs, the crypto czar, tell us that the U.S. Treasury will be the steward of XRP and these other crypto assets, right? And we just had Patrick McHenry tell us that tokenizing the Treasuries market will be the fastest and easiest thing to do for the indebted United States. And by the way, Ondo is tokenizing U.S. bonds in conjunction with BlackRock on the XRP ledger. Translation: buying bonds and tokenizing them and putting them on the XRP ledger is in fact the act of putting debt on the ledger. And then we have a window of 90 days, and it could be 75 now, until we see an ETF approval or strike down. And the reason that is because we know from the digital chamber that this was submitted. Important: approve additional spot ETF applications for other digital assets like Solana, XRP, and others. And here you see it again. Approve 19B-4 applications for additional spot ETF applications like XRP, Solana, and others. This is where we're at. Days 30 to 90. We're in the window. We could be about 75 now or less in finding out whether an ETF gets approved. And understanding that the Treasury is overseeing these stockpile and reserves, and understanding that Patrick McHenry just told us tokenizing U.S. Treasuries is the easiest and fastest and best thing that we could do for the indebted United States, NASDAQ is now moving to 24 hours a day, 5 days a week trading. Legacy markets are slowly realizing what crypto figured out years ago. Markets don't sleep, and neither should the opportunity. It's absolutely correct, and it's coming. And then I remind all of you, we may not know what protocol is being used at the moment, but we can rule out Bitcoin. Lock in. I also remind everybody of this from back in 2022. I know some YouTubers frown upon looking back in history, but this is when the SEC with Gary Gensler and all four of these chairpersons voted unanimously to speed up settlement time. Take a listen.
The ever-increasing pace of advancements in technology, including distributed ledger technology, further shortening the standard settlement cycle in the near future may be both desirable and feasible. Indeed, some such efforts are already underway.
There you have it. And now we get to the vote at the end.
Exchange Act on clearing and settling.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes, the recommendation is approved unanimously.
So there you have it. And that is how we get 2 years later to breaking NASDAQ is moving to 24.5. Now, what protocol will they be using? I don't know, but I'm excited to find out. We still have more information to find out today from the White House Crypto Summit and how fast this has come. We're just in the 1st of March. This is what leadership looks like and promises made and promises kept looks like. Keep that in mind. Meanwhile, Egg Crypto tells us 1 month will change your life forever. $9.70 XRP to $27. And Mrs. Backup's in the other room, and I know she's like, you know what? Let's just go ahead and do the 27. That's what I can tell. When Elon Musk added Bitcoin to Tesla's balance sheet last cycle, many thought all companies would follow. They didn't. Narratives come and go, but markets move in cycles. Recognizing these patterns helps you stay ahead rather than misled by hype. Price target breaking down, he says here, looking at the XRP chart, we see 2 key price targets. Target 1, midpoint of triangle breakout, $9.70. The midpoint of the triangle breakout projects XRP around $9.70. If your target is $10, it's smart to start selling at $8, $9, and then $10 to lock in profits rather than waiting for a precise peak. Target 2, explanation here, it says $27. During 2017-2018 bull run, XRP surged 718%. From a breakout of 35 to 39 cents local top. Applying the same 718% move that we witnessed in 2017-2018 to the current market, considering $3.40 as the local top, which is where we start to get above that noise on the chart, gives us a projected target of $27. Yes, $27 per XRP based on historical breakout patterns. Don't say it can't happen because those same moves have already happened before. The thing to remember is that it's not promised by anyone. So this is where we're at. But I tell you what, who's upset about it? Not me. We still have our first White House Crypto Summit today at 3 o'clock. And I'm hoping to find out that that's live broadcast. I don't know, but I'm hoping that it is. Nonetheless, I couldn't be more excited, and I hope that you are too. The tie-in to the U.S. Treasury is the biggest standout for me at this point. And now we need to wait and find out more, because I have a feeling that something's going to go down with legislation that will free up government in that legislation to allow them to acquire digital assets that they deem necessary to have in a reserve or a stockpile. Not financial advice from me or anyone else, just my digital perspectives. I'll catch all of you on the next one.